We're on.
Okay, this is still December 23rd. We opened the meeting a while back. Any public input? No? So the first item of business is the review and acceptance of the minutes. First minutes are, do you want to let's do the non-public, December 13th?
I have no changes.
Move approval as presented.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, December 13th, public minutes,
I have no changes.
Move approval.
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
And the public minutes for Friday, December 20th,
No changes.
I'll move approval.
Aye. Second.
that listed all of the encumbrances that were.
We did on Friday.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Non-public for December 20th,
I'll move approval.
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
God, we're moving along fast now. Police chief's back.
It's the speed lane here.
Right. What are we doing first? How long are you gonna take, chief?
Not long,
Okay.
because I have funerals to go to.
You got what?
Funeral. Assistant Director of,
Christmas. Can't have.
Who was it?
Tim Merrill.
Yes.
I thought I printed 4.
Homicide
That's it.
bureau.
Yeah, we got it.
You got that?
Yeah.
Did you hear that this morning?
I have.
Yes, record number.
It's a dangerous place to live in New Hampshire.
And we out that before. Sent that last week.
Yeah, I have.
Review it.
Um, So your activity's up.
Yes, arrests are up, motor vehicle stops are up, incidents are up, accidents are down.
Okay, no departmental issues that we need to address?
No.
On the budget?
In the budget, we're finishing out training for the, social training, finish up for the year.
Kind of tight, huh?
Kind of tight, it won't take long. It'll be done the next day or two, I'm sure. So that's and a few maintenance things left to be done, but we're working on it, and that's what's going on.
So when we were in a non-public meeting, we drifted into public discussions. So that drift encompassed directing the chief to come up with some part-time numbers so that we can have consistent coverage with patrolmen. Or if a patrolman or whoever needs to be out for whatever reason, we've got coverage. So he's gonna come back to us with that sometime in January, I hope. We talked about on the warrant, the cruiser. You've given us the mileage on all the cruises that you have, yeah.
That was a little bit ago. The Charger's at 114,700, so add probably about 2 to 3,000 on every one of those.
Okay. So the Ram, the Interceptor, and the Tahoe are all fine,
Yep,
but the Charger's suspect.
yep.
Um,
And my thought was, because one of the things that costs us a lot of time is when we're short a car, we end up jockeying cars around to make sure they're at people's homes that are gonna be on call, or it's there when they come on shift. Or, one day we spent, I came in at night one night and spent about 2 hours, because we got a call in the middle of shifting cars around, actually it was 2 calls, is to keep that as a spare. It's not, as a spare, it won't be used as much. So it won't be, and the cost of registration is nothing for us. It's more of a, what maintenance it will need over the next year. And as a spare, not used as often, the maintenance will be down, the repairs will be down, I fully suspect. Because, last Thursday, we were short a car. I had to meet Tom Albert in the office and be with him doing the computers, so I was in my own truck. I didn't bother jockeying around.
Why were we short a car?
One was in the shop, and then someone was at somebody's house, and rather than drive to somebody's house, pick up a car and come back, for the time span that I was gonna be short a car, I came in, sat here for like 2 hours with Tom, rather than spend an hour jockeying around earlier, extra time. It would add a bunch of time.
While we're on Tom, everything good now?
Seems to be. We have one, I have something I have to do soon, but we're good. We're back on track.
Sometimes it just seems so hard to get these little things.
Yeah, well,
Nailed
I kept, but then he took some time off, and
Yeah, yeah,
obviously we're not his only place he has to be, so
right.
it's just a matter of getting things done. We got it done. He also, because of CJIS rules, somebody has to be with him in the office.
Right, yeah, yep.
Anyway, we spend a lot of time jockeying cars, and then if we're short, we end up jockeying cars. So I was hoping to have a spare. It would save a lot of our time. We went, we spend a lot of time jockeying cars sometimes around. And one of the things that doesn't show up on that spreadsheet of our time, because I don't think people are recording it as accurate as they should. And I sent out a thing when I looked at it the last month, I said, this isn't right. We've had a lot more time in maintenance if you really think about the time spent, because, we had to get the SUV over to Irwin's. So that's 2 officers to drive over, drop it off, 2 officers to come back. It sat there, now we have to go get a car for somebody, the jockey car. Then we spend 2 hours to go get it and come back. The Charger needed a part up in Conway. It was 3 trips to Conway to get that fixed. And for the couple hours that the officer sat there. So the time wasn't really showing how much we really spend in dealing with those maintenance type
But I
issues.
have a question.
Yeah,
You could have 6 cruisers, and it still takes 2 officers and an hour and a half each to get to
that's true.
Irwin, right?
That's true. But what it won't mean though is I have to drive to one person's house, pick up a cruiser, drive it over to another person's house to drop it off. And I won't have to take stuff out of one car, put it into another car, and then do the same thing on the other end. You'll save time on that aspect. You're right. We'd still have that hours to go to do that. But we would save us the time of jockeying cars. Like I said, one week I spent about 5 hours jockeying cars, because we were short cars, so I had to have somebody pick me up, go get a car, bring it to somebody else's house. That's why a spare would be good. And if one's down for a while, it'd be kind of critical to have a spare car. And the cost is minimal in my mind, because we don't pay for registrations. It's not gonna add much other than a little bit of maintenance and an inspection. And it won't be used as often, so it won't be shouldn't require as much work.
What are we gonna do, brothers? And we're trying to contain our warrant article.
We are, we, and we pushed out a year last year
Right.
on a cruiser. And,
By the time this, figure we do about 15,000 a year. And by the time town meeting rolls around, by the time the cruiser comes in, by the time we get it equipped, you're talking like July, August. So you're talking, that car conceivably, by 2021, will have like 130,000 miles on it. At least. You'll have over 130,000 miles on it.
It is a Dodge.
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It hasn't rusted out like a lot of the state ones have, I'll give it that. The state had a number of their Chargers rust out badly.
Yeah. Of course, as I remember, there was a big buy during the, with federal money, and a bunch of, that sat for like a year and a half or 2 years before they ever got to using them because they didn't.
Yeah, I don't know what
Rotated.
happened, I
Yeah,
know their subframes all rusted out pretty
Yeah.
badly.
Yeah.
And they were only a few years old.
Yeah, so, it's my opinion is that we need to fund a cruiser in 2020.
Okay.
We pushed off last year, I mean, we can push stuff off until it doesn't work, and then we're in a crisis mode. And we were on an 8-year rotation. This one is,
It's out 9.
it's gonna be 9, yep. And,
Well, it's out 8 now, so.
yes,
Right, next year will be 9.
right,
Excuse me.
Which worked, because of the shortage of people, we were able to not drive as much, so it worked out. But
Okay, and do we take advantage of the state bid, or how do you bid your cars?
yes and no. Yes, I go to the state bid,
Mhm.
and
and then you shop it,
then
right?
I shop it from there. Reason why is the state bid sometimes is not always, the state bid is usually the base vehicle, but they may charge, another one may say, okay, spotlight's $500, another one will charge you $200 for the spotlight. So by the time you're done, you may be able to get cheaper somewhere else, but I go right off the state bid typically.
Okay.
Having said that, interesting dynamics going on. Some departments had charges on order and they got canceled because Chrysler's, we're retooling for 2021 model year, 2021 model year.
Mhm.
We only have so many 2020s we're gonna build, and because they're the only sedan in the business now, everybody's jumping to them. We're swamped with orders, they've actually canceled some orders. So, and then likewise, some others may close their bidding, or their sales, the orders early, depending upon what they have for supply, but
So,
Well, we're
when you,
limited
when
by
you,
our money.
when you buy new cruisers, is it your intention to purchase a sedan or to go back to an SUV?
personally, I kinda like the Tahoe, but the sedan is significantly, the cheapest one right now on the state bid is the Charger.
It has four-wheel drive capability, right?
It has four-wheel drive, just doesn't have much for clearance.
Right.
But if I were to do it, I probably would go with that, just because of the,
So what,
But you don't know if you got-
what price differential are we talking between a sedan and a
about 7,000,
SUV?
8,000. They're around 24, 20, 25 or so, and the SUVs are in the 32, 33 range, so 8, 9,000, I guess.
So,
But if you can get one.
so when we look at this,
The next cheapest thing is the Silverado pickup. And then from there you go to the, they're all over 30,000 after that.
So you got a $60,000 budget,
Yep.
and it's just a matter of shopping for the right deal. I'm not a real fan of having a pickup truck for a cruiser, but
It works to have one, I don't think it's good to have a bunch of them though.
yeah.
It's not, it's good when we have something messy to pick up or something big that can't fit, but other than that, it's not terribly great on turning around and a bunch of other things. But the SUV, the tower has worked out, I think, pretty good. It's nice.
Well,
Has
there
the
was a time
space.
we had several towers,
We had
right?
we were basically almost all towers at one point. They worked well. That price went up or stayed up, and some of the others dropped a little bit, marketing. But now, it's only like about 1,000 difference between the Explorer, or 1,500 difference between the Explorer and the Tahoe. And I think the Tahoe offers a lot more than the Explorer does. So.
I hated them for the 20 years I was in the business, I still hate them.
Well, see, I love cars,
And the-
so,
and the-
but I never sold them, so, you know, that's,
And the residual, I think, is much better on the SUVs than it is on the sedans, but.
Yeah, it
well,
was
my,
better.
my concern with the sedan, and you hit on it, all-wheel drive is fine, but in our town, any place where the roads are rough, ground clearance is an issue.
Yes.
And I suspect there are places that this Charger that we have struggles with a little bit, in and out.
We went up somebody's driveway, a dirt driveway that had some bumps in it, and arrested somebody there, and he got hung up coming out the driveway on a water bar.
You had a question, Luke?
I have a comment.
A comment? Go ahead.
When you came to the budget committee, twice when you were a selectman previously with your background, you talked about having one cruiser per officer, and I bought into that, and I think it makes sense. A lot of our neighboring police departments don't operate that way, and maybe it's time to revisit that. Number two is, in the last year, we've had 14 months of non-cruiser use. The third point is that there's $60,000 we want to put toward a new police station. And I'm of opinion, I'm thinking of you presenting the budget. I have no problem with the $60,000 going toward the police station. It's sorely needed. But for optics, this is the year that I'm not voting for another cruiser.
Well, I mean, the chief is sort of reluctant to do a hot seat cruiser program.
It's impossible to do if we take call.
It's sort of like in Chevys more than Fords, it's just your opinion. So I'm kind of with Selectman Markison, that if you're on a schedule, you stick to the schedule unless some exigent circumstance like a library gets in its way. If we had financed the library, we would have bought us a cruiser last year. So I'm gonna make a motion that we approve a warrant article for $60,000 for a police cruiser in 2020.
I will second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those not in favor? Okay. All right, so you'll bring us the information about, did you have someone?
Yes.
Okay.
A number of months ago, we talked about dedicated police functions. I've done an inventory. That's for Karen. I support the selectmen's request 100%. And I want to make sure that the chief has the resources to complete it this year.
There are two items on here that we did not discuss, and I gotta tell you, I'm not personally in favor of. The drug take back at the transfer station is fine. Just having a police officer at this station, I'm not in favor of that. And the church fair traffic, we didn't talk about. I know we have a church fair.
Right.
Or they have a church
Yes.
fair. I see that as a detail.
Mm-hmm.
and they've never asked me for a detail.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I wouldn't mind having you approach them and ask them if they'd like traffic control, but it's not gonna be free traffic control.
A number of years ago, we discussed this, and my point was, if we do it for them, we have to do it for anybody that comes in that's
No,
gonna do an
absolutely.
event,
Absolutely.
Yes.
if we offer it for free.
Right.
Therefore, if they're doing a special event and they feel they need it, then it's up to them to kind of,
Yeah, I mean, it falls well within the bounds of church and state, as far as I'm concerned. And the transfer station, Lloyd, defend that position for me, if you would.
Been my observation that there's two functions at the transfer station that work best when there's an officer there. One is the drug take back.
Yeah.
I understand why. The other thing is those people there are not police officers. All of the other transfer stations that I visited have at least a police presence there, because there is an element that is, I'll use the kindest word I can, disorderly and disruptive. I personally last year saw 3 instances where if Andy had seen the behavior of those persons, they would have been taken into custody for disorderly conduct.
So I've got a question. How does 6 hours in a year address having a policeman at the transfer station? I mean, that's, what,
Well, maybe
a fraction of
maybe it's a
1%?
random 6 hours. I
It's
mean,
the
it'd have to be random, so nobody can figure out when the police.
I understand what you're asking, and my answer there was, let's try it and see if there is an issue. If not, it dies a natural death. The second thing is, why do we have police cruisers running radar on our roads that are random?
Right.
To create a presence.
All right.
I
but-
guess the,
So, transfer station is part of, you know, it's like checking the beaches and all that kind of thing. I'm not, you're saying we need an additional 6 hours of police time in order to include the stops up there?
I included it so we would have a discussion. If we're part of the random patrol for a few hours, 3 times during the summer, that's acceptable to me.
I guess 2 things come to mind. One is, I don't know if the police officers randomly drive it through the transfer station. It might not be a bad idea. We haven't heard from Clay on this issue, and I think I like to defer to my managers, just as I'm deferring to our chief buying a Chevrolet. I just assume defer to Clay on the need for police presence at the.
I think that's appropriate. I had a conversation and I said, do I have permission to do this? And he said yes, but.
Yeah, he just doesn't come forward to the board, and I.
That's right.
you know,
Yeah.
And I appreciate that, Mr. Chair, that's appropriate.
So this is advisory, although the elections are not advisory, they're required. Any comment, Mr. Chief of Police?
the drug take back, we have to, or we
Yeah.
can't do a drug take back.
Correct. Yeah,
That's
that
required
option.
by
The
the
law,
Attorney
right.
General and
Right.
the DEA, so that's
Right.
very,
That's already factored in.
that's
right?
factored in. Church fair, we already talked about.
Right.
The concerts, if you find yourself needing to hire a detail, there is money in the Parks and Rec
Right, so
revolving
that was the
fund.
question about the Parks and Rec and how that, because that would be, like you said, hey, I don't have somebody, like we have done, I've done, like one of the drug take-backs Wolfboro did, because they do their own separate, they have to have 2 officers present the whole time. Like Officer Fay went over and did the detail there for that.
Yeah.
Likewise, similar, if concert, they want somebody there, we want somebody there, somebody will be there, then if I don't have somebody that can do it, I'll shop it out.
Okay.
Um,
Reminding them that it's a charitable event, so.
Well, it's whatever their detail rate is, so, and we're one of the cheapest around, so.
If you were to pick up the telephone and say to the sheriff, for sake of argument, these are the details that I want covered, he gets paid to do the cank.
Mhm.
You know, he would give you a figure, right? He would give you a figure of what it costs, right?
You know,
No, you could, there's a contract with the federal government to do.
Yeah, that's different.
Okay.
Yes.
When they do a detail, they have a detail rate, but it's a commercial operation. In other words, Coleman's putting in a bridge, we need an extra cop.
Right.
Yep.
But when we call them, or when the chief calls him to do something for Tuftonboro, that's part of being the county. They just come and do it. I mean,
Up to a
is
certain-
Albany paying them now? I don't know if they are.
Albany is paying them, yes.
Yeah,
Finally.
and Eaton is paying them, right? I mean,
He hasn't
any
started
of the,
to-
any of the towns that don't, my
They're not
understanding is
having
any of the towns that don't have
Right.
police, that rely on the sheriff for.
Well, they want
regular-
patrols.
Huh?
That want patrols.
That want patrols.
I don't think Chatham's paying any money, but
But even, I mean,
Yeah.
even so, I mean, this is notice enough so that, I mean, you know when the elections are. Even the larger departments don't have all their men on all the time, so that there are available officers from, let's say, Moultonboro or Wolfboro or whatever, who might be looking for a detail. So, I know it doesn't inure to the benefit of your retirement anymore, but
it does for
Still.
some.
does it still?
Yep, for some people, if you're in before 2007. So, yeah, that was
So, anyway,
But the issue is, like, the concerts are in the summer. Well, that's a busy time for everybody else too. So whether they'll, and what's happened, why we've gone to do details in Wolfboro and Ospey's called us for details, is because they can't fill all theirs either, that they already have.
Right.
So
right.
that's the issue, but.
My question to you is, Chief,
mm,
what can the selectmen provide for resources so these things can be covered? That's my question to you.
Well,
If it's a case, I'll be blunt, if it's a case where you say, I don't care what the selectmen want, I'm not gonna do it, then please say so.
Oh, okay. We're not going there. So we'll just ask the chief to, if you need to adjust, we're gonna adjust your budget anyway. So if you need to do more adjustments because of this.
well, the concerts aren't gonna be well, that's a revolving fund, so we're okay there, for us if we cover it,
Sure.
or if somebody else does. That's not an issue. Election, that's gonna be overtime. We'll adjust things around, make that happen. It's just drug take back, obviously, it all depends. In fact, I almost had to cancel, I wasn't sure we were gonna do the October one, because we were short people.
You'll contact the church, and until we hear from Clay,
Yeah,
The
I'm
transfer station.
surprised, because I've been to a number of other facilities. I haven't seen police officers hanging out at them.
well, and maybe it's a matter of, and once again, we haven't heard from Clay, and I'm not gonna protract this thing forever this morning, but maybe it's a matter of just including that on a patrol, you know, on a Sunday or whatever,
Well,
Saturday or
and
whatever.
the transfer station supervisor would be in the best position to provide the perspective on, yes, there are incidents from time to time, you know. In neighborhoods, you have incidents
He
from time to time,
He
so.
did talk, I almost said he didn't, hasn't brought anything to my attention. He did say he had people got work following the signs. And I said, well, how many? He goes, well, it's basically this one person. I said, he talked to him. And he talked to him and supposedly it was evaded.
If there's an issue, you call the police, right?
And that's the
Just-
other part of
just-
it.
just
We
like
haven't
if-
had the calls for the
just like
incidents
if
up
you've
there,
got-
but if there is, let us know. And
Neighbors that are having a brouhaha, call the police, and you guys come out and respond to an incident.
Anything else, Lloyd, that you want to do?
Thank you for listening.
Yeah.
all right.
All right, thanks, Chief.
Thank you, Chief.
Well done.
Merry
One quick
Christmas.
thing, if you don't mind. There was a question on the, that I went up to you about the presentation for town meeting, if you
Oh,
want to mount it.
the police
in,
facility.
Yeah. I don't know if that's a quick discussion or not,
The
or if
police
you want to
facility?
revisit it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, go ahead. We'll talk about it, John, but they don't need to know today, do they?
I don't know how quickly we need to know.
The town meeting isn't until March,
Right.
you know.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna move on.
Okay.
All right,
Thanks.
sounds good.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Chief. Stay safe. All right, finally, tax map, CAI Technologies. who knows more about police. This
Morning.
Wood, right? Michael, how are you?
I'm doing well. How you guys doing?
You've been here. How do you think we're doing?
Seems familiar to me.
We'll make, just 2 seconds.
Sure.
Karen,
Yeah.
you made sometime today make a decision what we want to do as far as that presentation's concerned, but it really depends on how much time we've got.
Sure.
All right?
Thank you.
Tax annual maintenance costs jumped from $2,385 to $3,000.
37, yeah.
You compromised and we've compromised. What caused the jump?
You know, as I had mentioned, I know that was the question, and I can't really come here and say that there's a magic bullet.
Yeah.
That's just our experience on having gone through a cycle, what the effort is to do the update. On the jump, I don't know what you're comparing, the 23, where's that coming from? Is that,
That's what we paid for 2019 tax maps, 2385.
okay. That was a combined contract though, so I think we did.
Well, we had the conversion warrant article, which
Yeah.
was into separate money, and
the
then we
16,
budgeted.
yeah. Oh yeah, I see, that's right. What was combined in that first one was the service, the annual service of the web. So-
No, we paid 24 for that.
Right, so you
Prorated,
pulled that,
prorated.
right, so we pulled that out of the total. I see where you're getting that. I had one contract for that with a total number. That number's pulled out, that's how you come up with the 2385.
I'd
Gotcha.
have to go back and look, but
Yeah.
I remember there was an
Yep.
amount for tax map maintenance, and then an additional per
Yeah.
map cost.
Yep.
And we just needed the big ones,
Yeah,
so it was 23.
yep. Well, you know, when that was the first year having done the update, we made a proposal based on what information I could gather. It's, you know, it's just, again, I don't have a magic bullet, that's the
It just
effort. I
is-
know that this past year, there was a lot of back and forth, corrections and things like that. I didn't take that into account. Obviously, I wouldn't expect that to happen going forward. I did compare your numbers to the surrounding towns. I don't know if you've had an opportunity to do that. It's a little dicey to compare town to town because services are different and things like that. But you know, Molten Borough's 5,200, Wolfborough's 4,185, something like that. Ossipee is 3,800. So it's a little less, I think appropriately so. But and again, that's I don't have a really good explanation. It's just that's what the effort is
Well,
to
it's
process
just
all the data.
It's our hope. I mean, it's close to a 25% increase.
Sure. Yeah.
And if it's gonna be 25% more every year,
Yeah.
I'm starting to think bait and switch here.
Yeah. No, I really don't. I don't. First of all, that isn't common. Usually our pricing holds from year to year, at least a few years, but there are sometimes a 3 to 5% increase every 2 or 3 years.
Because I know anything that we add in, we've billed separately and we've paid for it.
Right.
So this is the service, basically.
This is the maintenance of the data and delivery of the hard copies that are and the digital data.
Right,
Again, totally separate from the web service.
yeah.
But I think it's a combination of one a new client. We're usually pretty good at evaluating that. But the second thing is, there are a couple of idiosyncrasies with maintaining your data and how the deeds are tracked and the notes that have to be kept. But that's, I'd be relying to say that had a huge impact on the costs.
So we're on YouTube here, and we're having our minutes recorded. So you're confident that 2021, we're gonna be looking at around $3,000?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, usually in the next couple of weeks, we send our renewals for 2021 to all of our clients, and we'll be sending one out, and it will be for $3,000.
Okay.
I can't guarantee 2022, but probably 2022 as well. unless there's some dramatic change in the service of some sort, for any reason.
But that would be our request to change, right?
Correct. Correct. So I know 2021 will be 3,000.
For 2020, right? 2020?
Well, you already have
Yeah,
2020.
we got
We're gonna try
2020.
20.
I'm
He's
pushing-
saying at the
So it'll be
beginning of
another
the
year
year,
of
he'll,
$3,000.
he'll give us the price for the following year,
Yeah,
right?
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
you'll be getting that in a few weeks, because
Yeah.
we try to get it early so that everybody knows that for budgeting purposes. A lot of our clients are actually budgeting now for 2021.
Shoot. Right up to 2020.
Yeah, really.
I have a few questions.
Yeah.
My name is Lloyd Wood, and I don't like to ambush people, and I apologize if the questions that I'm going to ask sound like an ambush, okay? I noticed that there were severe issues with spelling of roads and locations. Have those been corrected, Karen, to your satisfaction?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly haven't had a chance to take the time to go through them all, but.
Well, are you looking at the maps or are you looking on the website?
Both.
Okay.
I know some hard
That's
copies.
just an observation.
Well, reason I asked that is because on the website, it's important to remember now, that this doesn't explain the maps, because the maps absolutely should be correct. But on the website, when you're zoomed out and you're looking at the road names, those are not coming from your map data. Those are coming from a different service that we don't have control over. So sometimes you'll see a road name, and as you zoom in to the level where you're seeing the tax map data, then it's correct, it corrects itself. We still want to know those because there is a mechanism where we can request the correction from the source data. We just don't have control over it. But on the tax map, if you see a road name error, we'll correct it and replace it right away.
The next question, a couple I have for you, Karen. In the last year, how many hours have you spent on this project? More than 10?
Yeah,
The real concern I have is that when you're doing that, you're not doing your work and you have a full plate. And that's an editorial comment on my end of things. The
Well,
other-
if I could address that, that shouldn't be the case. I know that we had a lot of back and forth. We ran into problems right from the start, not being able to get that export from your previous consultant of the index, the owner index. It threw a lot of things into out of whack.
I don't if you don't mind, I don't necessarily agree in that respect, because I know when we started the whole process, I thought it was kind of weird that I was never asked for an export, and I didn't know where they were gonna start from, and then we found out, and there were a lot of errors and things that were
Yeah.
skipped because the person didn't know what to
Yep.
do with them.
We're
So
talking
then-
two different things.
Oh, okay, because
The export for the web, the export from the
late.
web, you're absolutely right.
Okay.
He was late asking you for
Okay.
that. I'm talking about the database you want us to maintain.
The milers and so forth?
Well, the index,
Oh,
owner
the
index
database, yeah, I
that you want us to
understand.
maintain.
Yeah, from.
We never ended up
That's
getting
true,
that, right?
that's true.
So that, look, it threw a lot of things into whack, out of whack. I think I came here before and flat out said this is just not indicative of how we do things. I know it took a lot more of your time. In fact, I was willing to do a lot of other things. I tried to do a lot of things
You did,
to try to
you
set.
offered
try to
some
set that.
things for no
But
cost.
going
yeah.
forward, that shouldn't be the case. I mean, we serve a lot of communities, and the maintenance of the data should be really painless. Get us the data, we process it right, and we send data for your review prior to putting it online, and then, you're processing an entire year's worth of data. We might have made a mistake, you wanna look at it before we finalize it. But this should not be a time-consuming thing. I know it has been, or it was in that transition period. It should not be the case going forward.
Now, is my memory correct that we're now doing incremental updates to the data?
That's correct, so that's one of the.
So
bargaining
that
points.
should
He gave-
help as opposed to once a year, right? How often do we,
Oh, okay, thank you okay, so a little bit of a difference there. So the updates you're thinking of, I think are, so when I do deed transfers,
right?
I hit a couple steps, and it will now automate to the online mapping, so people will see the most recent deed transfers. As far as, and this is a question, this is good that you brought that up, because I wanted to ask you, I have the deeds, this much so far that I've done this year. I think you had mentioned it's helpful to get them in increments throughout the year. I spoke with Steve and he said, oh no, just wait, I've got to have them all at once. So we have I have a pile like this in a drawer, and so that was a question for you.
No, we
Yeah, so
definitely
two
want.
different things.
Yeah, you bring up a good, I don't know if there was a miscommunication or
Okay.
a disconnect in the request, but we definitely prefer getting the data throughout the year. And
Okay,
rather
that's
than all
definitely a
at once.
disconnect,
So
so-
I'd much
okay.
prefer to get it throughout the year so that we don't wind up after April 1st with the entire year's worth of data to process.
Okay,
That accomplishes a few things. One, of course, it spreads the workload out.
right,
Two, we have a change that happened in June that it's well past out of your mind.
right,
By the time you send us to it the following April, and we have a question on it, we gotta reconstruct that. You're sending throughout the year, it's fresh, we process it, and we send it back.
Okay.
And we send you the changes for review, so at the end of the year, you're not looking at a whole year's worth of changes you have to go through to review either.
so, yeah, so I'm getting conflicting answers on that, so I'm glad you brought that up. 'Cause-
Well, I'll discuss this with Steve. I'm sure, because virtually all our clients send stuff periodically. I am sure he must have misunderstood the question.
I can send you with a pile today. if you
Yeah,
want.
that'd be great, whatever
Alright.
works for you.
Okay.
So, over the course of the past year, we've had all kinds of stumbles
Yeah.
going forward. There's still some things right here, we just witnessed one. Things that need to be looked at or watched, so I think you asked Karen how much time she spent. It doesn't seem as though it should take an unreasonable amount of time. So I guess we'd have to ask Karen to keep track of her time for 2020. And then we'll meet again in December of 2020 and see how we did.
Sure.
I-
Money's one thing,
Yeah.
but we only have,
Well, a lot of the
A
stuff that you're
limited
talking
number of
about that
people.
you're doing now, that's part of your job. As
The deed
as deed
transfers, but not the other
transfers and
stuff,
all that
yeah.
kind of stuff,
That-
okay?
That's common, yeah.
So
Yeah.
the piece that I think was extraordinary is the back and forth with CAI about, no, this isn't right, they'll ask a question, you have to go research it and that sort of thing.
Well,
Hopefully, we're.
Yeah, well, it's not
getting
just the back
beyond
and
that.
forth, it's the time I'm sure you spend checking things because of your concerns of the things you've seen before. So I
Yeah.
think once you start seeing that that's not the case, you'll,
Yeah.
and then periodically it'll be.
and once it's listed as Dame Road, it's Dame Road forever in his
Yeah.
database.
Right.
So it isn't as if we gotta check all the road
Yeah.
names. I mean, we should check them, I suppose. We're gonna add one this year.
I mean, we definitely had sit downs, Franco and I and Steve from his company, so not to rehash the past, but one of the and you know this already, one of the hardest things for me was the data wasn't requested for the deed transfers and everything at the beginning, so therefore, when I gave hard copies of things, my biggest complaint was if they just didn't know what to do with them, they just
Yeah.
skipped them, and I had to find that on my own, and that was, I was shocked. So, but we've gone past that, it's been talked about,
Excuse me.
and you've offered things at a discount or free because of it, and so,
All right,
but,
anything else?
No, thank you for listening, sir.
Yeah, thanks for coming in. Merry Christmas.
All right, you too, thank you. Stay safe, you all.
if
Travel
you don't
safe,
mind,
my
I'll go
friends.
grab him that stuff.
Sure,
Okay.
we'll wait for a couple seconds to come.
Okay.
Sorry to keep you waiting this morning.
It's not a problem. I probably gave you one before, but please feel free to reach out to me anytime if you have any further questions.
All right,
Thanks.
thanks.
Taking a little break, Joe, while Karen gets the stuff for.
Okay, no problem. Okay, we're on again.
Thanks for your patience. Next item on the agenda is the highway department, but unfortunately, the highway department is up doing highways. So we'll talk to Chief Thompson from our fire department.
Have a couple things on you, yes, as well as one update. I was supposed to go find some of it was just in case that you had questions on what I had left to pay for this year.
Thank you. More information is always better
Thank you, sir.
than not enough, for sure.
Thank you.
Okay, Currently, we've had 204 fire calls, 286 EMS calls, 58 service calls, 22 special details for 569 for the year. 40 gas furnace inspections, 10 oil burner inspections, 5 wood pellet stove inspections, and 28 life safety for 83 for the year. The department's 2016 ambulance is going to be out of service for 2 weeks as of 12/10/2018. It has gone back to PL Customs Manufacturing in New Jersey. Reason for the unit being out of service is a paint warranty work that was being done. The unit is already being missed by personnel and as it's become a very important piece of equipment for the department. Captain Pike and paramedic Sid Galvin have been working with the police department and its 4 offices to get them recertified in CPR, first aid, and their Narcan administration. All research classes have been completed and the paperwork's been turned into the state for that.
So I think it was last week when I drove by one day and all 4 of the cruisers were in your lot.
They were there for that class.
Okay.
Yeah.
Either that or hell of a raid.
That is cool.
Well, the coffee's good, but I figured they wouldn't all be there for coffee at the same time.
No, they were getting that all situated for the year so that they were recertified.
Great.
The generator at Central Station the service has been completed on that. All is well with the unit, besides that it needed a new battery, which is a couple $100 for that, and then whatever the service was, it's usually around $700 and something for the service. The 75 kW generator remains at Milton Cat and Londonderry. They're still evaluating for a final repair quote. I received a rough estimate not to exceed $15,000 to repair it for, this is again not a final estimate, as you want to know what a new one cost, and the salesman's supposed to call me with that, what a lease would cost, what rentals cost, and I haven't got anything back on that yet. They felt that it was well worth repairing this particular unit, as it has 253 hours on it. They don't
It's not
see
worn out, for
It's
sure.
not worn out by any means. However, it's still a 2003.
That's a $15,000 repair.
Right.
So-
So that was not to exceed, but they do have a certain amount of money into evaluating it right now. So. When the specialist comes back and says, hey, this part is what the faulty part is, or whatever, where they've sent, had to send it out and have them come in, then maybe we'll say,
So-
no, it's not worth it.
So when they call you back, you're gonna ask them for a trade-in value for this
Yep.
thing.
Already
And
done.
hopefully, they're gonna add in into the value, the amount of money we're spending.
Spending to
To get it evaluated, because they're
Yep.
gonna have to do that now.
Yep.
And, yeah, it's 16 years old. And it
So-
only has 200 hours on it.
Right. So the questions have been asked. It's just a matter of
Yeah.
getting
So,
it back.
Refresh my memory on what it cost us to buy it initially.
Initially, it was $36,700, somewhere around there.
So they may be 75 today or something, right? So, but all of those pieces of information are important to
Yes.
figure out where we go.
Yeah, the downside is that we can't encumber after next Tuesday.
Right.
Right.
So
I'm going to suggest that we have a work session next Monday.
I think we're gonna have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was told that, that's why I had to come up with, this contract for not to exceed $15,000 on that. It's
Yeah,
not
but
a
we're not
final
gonna
estimate,
encumber it
but-
if we're gonna trade it in.
Right, as far as it.
And
that
we
goes.
might encumber it to purchase, but
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Can you, when you encumber, can you say that it's for either repair or purchase of a new unit?
we can say whatever we want. I mean, it just has to pass the mustard with DRA.
DRA.
Yeah,
I mean, it'd be easier if we just knew what we were gonna do on Monday
Right.
and
Right.
did
yeah,
that.
and it has to pass muster with DRA and our auditors. And I'm not sure who on those issues is more particular, but Diane's pretty good at saying, hey, here's what we need in order to encumber. There was a time that I remember when money used to get encumbered because we wanted to use it for something down the road. Somebody set us straight, said, no, you
No,
can't just say,
do that.
well, we know we're gonna spend some money next year, so let's just keep it in a little kitty on the side.
Right. I know that I'll have research, I know that there's gonna be an amount that I'm gonna have to pay for, you know,
What's being done
what's
right
being
now.
done right
Yeah.
now. But I don't know what the total is.
So
We
hopefully,
have that.
hopefully next Monday, you'll have a direction set.
Right,
Well, we will have a direction set next Monday.
yeah, one
And,
way or
and,
another.
and hopefully, there'll be enough information that it'll be a good direction and
So I don't know, you know, particularly I don't know what is, I guess until you know exactly how much a new one cost, all set up, I'm not quite sure which way it's better to go.
Right, yeah, that's our decision to make, so
Yeah.
you don't have to worry about that.
No.
That's great.
So we just need to,
but,
we just need to know what it costs for a new one.
Yep.
What our options are for financing or leasing
Yep.
or purchasing outright. And we know that the repair is gonna be somewhere, and what are we gonna get for a trade-in?
Right.
And we know what the repair is gonna cost.
And I would think that once they know what is wrong with it, they'll be able to give you an idea of, better idea of, as far as trade-in value.
Right.
sure.
I'm sure
Right.
they're pretty hesitant right now until they
Yeah, so we know what's wrong
know
with it.
it's 100% wrong with it, so.
All right, and you might, I know it's Christmas, but occasionally you go to work, I've seen you there. You might try to figure out if there are any, I mean, in 16 years, there must be some changes in design or whatever for generators.
Right.
Whether or not you need a 75K or you just need 50 or.
Right. Well, the 75K does not run the whole school. We manually do, and 75 was like the least amount at that point in time, that when we put it in. We did actually go through and, you know, say, okay, this is the smallest unit that could be purchased at that point in time.
So another question, and maybe you know this, is at the time we purchased that,
Yes.
the school district wasn't doing anything with emergency power,
Correct.
right? My understanding, if I remember correctly, is that they are now. They're putting generators in some of the buildings. So this generator was bought because that's an emergency shelter area for the
Correct.
town, right? And the school district didn't want anything to do with standby power. So I guess that becomes another question. The building belongs to the school district. They now have some buildings that have emergency power
Correct.
associated with them. Is this a time for the school district to step up and add emergency power to this building? And I don't know how many buildings they have with emergency power and what they're, but you know, another thing goes into the mix.
And have we exhausted all of the grant possibilities where this is?
Oh, no, not at
shelter
all. As far as, there is a 50/50 matching grant available for this. We just have to apply for that. But it's all stuff that will obviously take time.
Sure.
And
But that all
I'll
goes.
go any way that you want to go.
That, well,
I
that all
have
goes
plans
into the
to-
repair or replace.
Well, if
Yes.
it's 75,000, 50% of that's what, 3750?
Right.
Yeah,
So now we're about what it cost us in 2003.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, you're back to that,
So
so.
I-
And then, as you said, I think I probably know the answer to, you know, the school system stepping up, because obviously they haven't budgeted this year for
right.
that. If that's something that we're moving forward, I guess my question would be, would they step up and allow it to be a permanent unit on site?
Right.
Good point.
Yeah.
That's what they did.
Compared to having to bring it, you know, there
I
would be
think
some
this-
changes
I
because
think
it's
the
all
power-
manual.
I think the power that they have the standby, those are fixed installations,
Yes.
right? So,
Yes, all the new ones are.
right, so if they're doing it in other buildings now, is this a program that they've obviously changed their stance with respect to
Yeah.
emergency power on the buildings? And again,
Fixed place generator is gonna cost a different amount that I
Right.
label.
Well, the other thing is what you'd be facing as far as a fixed place, some of the inside stuff would have to be changed over because it's all manual right now.
Sure.
It's not
sure,
made
you
to
got,
come on
you
automatic.
got an automatic bus transfer system
Yeah.
goes in, sure, just like in all the ones that we have now.
Things would be less complicated, that's for sure, as far as it goes, but it's not gonna be cheaper.
No,
Not gonna be cheaper by any, because there's some big power there and some big units inside.
It's a little magic from what I can see.
Oh, yeah, it is.
I can't figure it out either.
If I remember correctly, New Durham generator was a parallel to yours.
Yeah, something.
I forget whether it was movable or not, but
Yeah, I don't know if theirs was or not, but they were able to get a generator into there.
both done the same
Shortly
year.
after.
As a matter of fact, there was a lot of your information that the chief at the time borrowed from
You know, personally, I would be happy to have a fixed unit that's not taking up room somewhere,
Yeah.
and if the only
that was
place we use it's at the
at
school,
school.
right, then certainly,
All right,
yes.
moving on.
So,
Thompson Electric has done what they've done.
yep, they had gone through and looked at the buildings at your request as far as it goes. Obviously, I don't think that there would be any money left for something like that.
Do we have a quote?
He's supposed to get those quotes out to.
All right,
to me.
so you're looking at your budget, we're looking at the overall budget.
Yep.
And having these projects, if we have the money left to do it, we gotta have them by next Monday.
Right.
So we can nail it down, and it's,
Yeah, so my,
so
I guess my worry
when you
is.
run into them over the holidays, remind him, we need the quotes this week.
I'll remind you today.
Thank you.
I guess my worry is that, how much money is this other thing gonna take? As far as, overall, whether it's from emergency management or the fire department side. I know that there's only a certain amount of money left as far as town-wise, and so.
Oh, you know what's left in your budget.
Yeah.
You don't know what's left in the whole town budget.
Right, well,
So-
I do.
It wouldn't be a cheap.
Because I've been reminded as
Yeah,
far as
yeah.
this is what is left.
Right,
Um,
so,
But
anyway,
I don't, I don't have an idea of everything else that
Right.
is going on. Central Station communities have problems with the heating system. We're gonna give Sam Mechanical one last chance as far as trying to figure out the problem before we try to find someone new that can do the entire system like they are. They did take one bill for $720 back as the fix that they had done did not correct the issue.
that thing has been a problem from day one, right?
So
There's no way to call the manufacturer.
manufacturer's been in, the manufacturer, they have done whatever with the units that the manufacturer is saying that on the unit 2, which we have issues with right now, that there's a discrepancy of the board that is in it as far as the main brain, as far as whether it's the right one or not.
And when are they gonna figure out if it is?
That hopefully will be in the next couple days. So they're going back and forth. Sam Mechanical is saying no, it's not the right unit. They're saying yes, you received the right unit as far as that main board that's put in. So, but Unit 1 seems to be working properly. They seem to have that straightened out, and now we're having, all kinds of issues.
But they both have had issues
Yes.
from day one,
Yes,
right?
they both had issues from day one. They've been pretty similar, but this Unit 2 for some reason keeps throwing codes, not always the same, codes. High flue temperature, it just keeps locking out. When they think that they've got it all situated, the guy leaves for like half an hour, and boom, it's gone right back into lockout. So I don't know what else to say. Turn to wood pellets.
Well, one thing that I'm aware of, and I don't know that this is the case with these boilers, is the absolute leading edge technology boilers tend to be much less reliable because it's the latest electronic control on it and this, that, and the other. And so generally taking half a step back to something that isn't quite the latest and
Correct.
greatest, but is
Proven.
more proven, okay, you spend a little bit more for fuel because it's not quite as efficient.
Right.
But again, that's a question mark because the efficiencies that they quote are all done in an environment that's optimized to the Department of Energy test for efficiency, okay? So you know what the protocol is for the test, you optimize the way it runs to get you the highest number there, and then it goes out in the field and it has problems.
Well, obviously they were all engineered.
Yep.
Engineers chose what units to put in. Sam Mechanical said that that's not the units that they would have went with if they had a
Right.
choice.
Right.
But
Yeah, the plumber
Of course.
always blames the electrician, and the
Yeah.
electrician always
yeah,
blames
blame
the
someone else.
sheetrocker.
Yeah.
Can I ask
But-
a question?
Yes,
How many hours this year have you spent to date on furnaces?
I have.
Is it over 10?
I would say it's far over 10.
You know,
Anytime that you see building maintenance, as far as a lot of that is stuff involved in that.
well,
So-
you heard what I asked about her. I want my employees to be doing their job,
Well,
not somebody else's.
I think
But
that
you-
I probably
but-
am doing my
but-
job.
But you've had the patience of Job on this, so
Right.
thank you.
The ATV and sled have been put in service for the winter. Luckily, it's been a fairly, there's not a lot of snow machines and stuff out and around on the trails. Nothing's open right now. So, but that's all up and running. And the airboat, we've tested it as far as water worthiness. We just need to test it as far as ice wise. And hopefully we don't have a real call before we get that tested. But obviously the ice has not been safe, and it's just starting to come in now. So I have heard a few ice rescues go out in different areas as far as it goes. So. Any further questions with that? I do, as I said, I do have that not to exceed estimate for that. If you need it in writing, I can
Yeah, that's
remove
fine.
that,
We can use
just
that.
so that you have it.
I'll give that to Karen.
Government buildings or emergency management, is that anything that you're going over today?
We're gonna
In
go
the future?
government buildings, are we not? Or something, what is it? Yeah, 4194.
And you have the complete budget for general government, and Adam has his own lines type thing.
If you have any questions with mine, I'll be able to answer that.
Did you say 4195?
4194. Give my budget away.
So, well, I'm looking at your building budget lines. Fire station improvements, you increased by $3,700 from
Yes.
last year.
The increase was seal coating of the driveways.
Okay,
We haven't done it for several years, and that was the increase. The central station, the estimate was 4,400 with the lines. Melbourne Village was 11, and The Mirror Lake was 1,200.
All right. And so that's,
Yeah, would you mind?
uh,
And I guess the,
you've got, and the fire station maintenance budget's up by 1,800.
Which one are we looking at as far as Central Station or the?
I'm looking at 630. Once from 4161 to 5961.
I have a slight increase from, we've changed people as far as mowing was. Joseph will no longer be doing it, it'll be Corey Hunter for the estimates that have come in. So there's now a charge for fall and spring cleanup, and that the mowing prices went up slightly. I think I went up a little bit for the maintenance and repair of the station as far as it goes yearly, not just as far as that covers furnace maintenance, general maintenance of the buildings, not something that I consider a larger repair as far as it goes, and buys a little bit of supplies for the stations itself.
and I'm sorry to revisit it because I didn't have a copy, I'm sorry. But on the improvements, that extra $3,700 is for what?
It's for seal coating the driveways.
Okay.
And that's for all three buildings, because I don't think that I have a line to separate out
No,
the
you
central station improvements.
No. The improvements and the maintenance lines are combined.
Yeah.
It's just heat and electric that are
Separate.
separate, right?
You got $1,200 more heat in Mirror Lake now this year than you had last year. I know you're over budget,
Yes.
but you think
So basically what I have done is gone through to see what I spent last year
Mhm.
and increased it slightly each month to account for where I've gone over budget. And that's in both stations as far as that goes. Because that amount, both lines are gonna be over. I've given you a breakdown of what the heating costs are for Melvin and Mirror Lake, and a breakdown for electric for Melvin and Mirror Lake. I don't know if you received
But you've got
that.
two lines here. For some reason, we've got two fire station maintenance lines.
I have two, I have a central station maintenance,
Yeah.
and I have a fire station maintenance, which is Melvin and Mirror Lake.
So I think what happened is the fire station improvements and maintenance lines and the Melvin and Mirror Lake heat and electric was existing. When we added the central station, we added a
That-
whole,
And, yeah,
uh,
whole new category.
new crop of accounts further down in the buildings.
And they wanted to know
So we got central station heat and electric and maintenance.
and the other thing was to keep that separate to see what the building was actually
Right.
using. And I apologize, I do not have a copy of what you're looking at there. I have what
Oh, did you get one of these, but like for the fire station, I think Dana was gonna give you?
I didn't get that yet.
Oh, I'll make you a copy.
Make me a copy, please.
Sure.
Because we are up $20,000. Just so you know. On this total budget.
Yeah, that's not just the fire stations.
No, I
That's,
appreciate that.
Yeah.
A lot of it's the exterior painting of this
Right.
building,
right,
which is gonna be $14,000.
yep.
Yeah.
And I have no issue with going tighter, as long as I'm not gonna be dinged going over each year with, you know, someone saying, well, you knew you went over last year, how come you didn't change that, or I'm trying to get it as close as possible, but not be unreasonable
Right.
about the
Well,
amount per month.
Yeah, that's somewhat of a
This
crapshoot.
includes
Thank you.
all, not.
We have a warm winter and we come up great in terms of where we're at for heat,
Mhm.
right? But you can't.
And if, you know, if you end up saying, hey, we've got a lot of maintenance to do on this particular building, can you hold off on the driveway ceiling? I mean, we can,
But you've
We
got
can
the
look at
seal
that.
coats all on one line, am I right?
yes.
Okay,
Yeah, that's
so-
all in station improvements.
Right, so the fire station maintenance line is all the other fire stations other than the central fire station, correct? And that's up $1,800.
Correct.
And what's the reason?
Well, as far as, let me look at
We've only spent 3,000 of the 4,100 you've got. Did you have notes?
And I think I might have had it on the wrong one now that you're talking about differences between central fire station and others.
Mhm.
But I had written down that you said includes furnace and general maintenance repairs, but perhaps that was for central
Right.
fire station.
The central fire station also includes, you know, the $8,000 something includes
Right.
anything that, but as far as, the same with, the two stations, I think that I've added some money in, because in the past, I really haven't put a huge amount of money in as far as maintenance. We've had some issues as far as furnace wise, you know, going bad. And sometimes I've had to take it out of, you know, like the fuel section as far as the heating section to make the repairs, because I don't have the money there to, I've only got a couple $100 usually spare in maintenance, on top of buying supplies to fix anything, with the station. So I just looked at that as far as, saying, with the problems that I've been having with everything else, been pretty lucky overall not having to make any repairs, and at some point in time I figure I'm gonna face, you know, future issues. But we can,
With all that said, I mean, it just seems like a pretty specific number, $5,961.
Well,
And that is.
That to 1,800 you said-
$1,800 more.
Yeah, and you said mowing is up.
yep.
Is it up $1,800?
No.
I hope not.
No, I have, as far as rounding off, I try to round off different stuff as far as it goes. I usually go through and see what I've had to repair the year before, how much it's cost me, and, try to add in, the least amount as far as it goes. There may have been something specific that I didn't make a copy of some information to give you, but I don't. Let me just look at my notes to see if that is the case. Yeah, you got me on that one. I don't have notes for any drastic changes.
It is nice to see that we were able to sustain that savings on the central fire station electric that we got, what was it, 2 years ago? Went from 17 to 10.
The co-op was there doing an audit on Wednesday. Hopefully they didn't find anything that they felt was out of the ordinary. We haven't changed anything.
Right.
So hopefully we're...
And you're still going offline when you run the big fire pump,
Yeah.
right? So that was the thing that kicked us into
The upper bracket.
into the higher rate structure.
So, are there any adjustments we want to make to the fire station and government buildings?
Is the front page the same as department heads? Any changes on the front page?
I'm sorry, I'm not sure what you mean.
Are there any changes from department heads to what we request?
That's what you do now.
That's what you're doing now.
Yeah, that's what Chip just asked.
So, do you want me to, I don't have backup information of what that $1,800 was different in my book. And right off the top of my head, I can't remember why I was looking at that. Actually, it's $1,000 difference.
No, it's-
4161,
To
and I requested
59.
59. Oh yeah, I apologize. Yeah.
And we're confident on the other central fire station numbers?
Yes.
Selectmen? You happy with this request?
Well, the last several years, that's been running fairly consistent on central station maintenance. 17.8, 17.5, 18.5
Yeah.
this year.
Well, we spent 14 so far.
Yeah. So you're not done spending on central station maintenance, is that
No,
correct?
there's
Still gonna
some
finish
maintenance.
the work.
I've got a couple bills left.
Okay. So
As far as if you want to, as far as the fire station maintenance for the regular station, if you want to knock that down $1,000 until I don't have the backup information to tell you that.
Well, we've got, I don't think the budget committee's meeting until the 7th, are they, Karen?
That's right, that's correct, not till 7.
Is this something that you're not going to make a decision on?
Well, I mean, we do have some time.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be nice to get all the budgets done, so we've got them done, but. if you feel-
we're meeting next Monday. Do we want to revisit this?
I just want to
Not
answer
next
for you.
Monday.
I want to be
Right.
able to answer the question as
Right.
far as that goes.
You put it in there for a reason.
Yeah.
I'm reluctant to say take it out because you
Right.
don't have the backup in front of you, because
Yeah.
you don't just.
Well,
stuff in.
I don't know why I don't have it here
Right.
in front of me as far as it goes.
Right.
The other thing is, where you're looking at so much maintenance for, you know, like painting this building,
Mhm.
the seal coating, that may be something that we forego, you know, as far as that goes.
Well, yes and no. I mean, the reason you seal coat is to extend the life of the pavement. And if you take too much time in between seal coats, then it has an adverse impact. I don't feel that I can make the call as to whether another year makes sense or not on that, but
If there was something catastrophic, obviously you'd look at it.
Okay, do we want to go over emergency management? We're gonna
Well,
go do this again on Monday.
While we're still on this budget, if you go to page 2, fourth line down, 4194-5, transfer station maintenance.
Yeah,
we're just dealing
we're
with,
just doing the fire department.
That
the
needs
fire
to be
department.
dropped.
We're just
do those.
dealing
Okay.
with the fire department, yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted
We'll
to
do-
pique your curiosity.
Yeah,
Yeah, the central station has been fairly even as far as, besides this heating system.
so emergency management number, do you want to go over those? Yeah.
Do we have them?
Were you able to provide that to Diane, the emergency management center?
42
Or did you
hundred.
not because of the,
Well, I had
Generator.
originally given you, and I think that it stayed the same. I gave.
oh, okay, I don't
Okay,
think we
so
have that.
We're talking about encumbering for the school generator on the emergency management. We're gonna do that Monday.
Yep,
Okay,
yeah,
Okay,
all right.
so you're done.
okay,
You're free to go.
okay, very good.
And we'll move on.
And I'll
See you Monday.
come up with that amount of money. See where,
Right, you'll have a lot to tell us on Monday, I'm sure.
I hope so.
Have a Merry Christmas. if we don't see you.
You too. Hopefully we don't see you before then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to the general government buildings. Now, Mr. Lloyd Wood. Okay. You wanted to
I knew you'd get back to me.
bring our attention to 4194, 630 transfer station,
Yes.
which is only, what, $4,900 over budget? No, it's not that much, 4,000 over budget.
That's the, on page 2, it's the fourth line down, transfer
Yeah.
station maintenance.
Yeah,
If I remember, we have a form in here to encumber 3,000 for the doors.
where are we gonna get that? Not out of that line.
Well,
That line's already 4,000
no,
over.
but Clay wanted us to encumber that money someplace and reduce that line to $5,000.
The math doesn't work for me. He wants to take $3,000 out of someplace
Yes.
and put it into encumbrances. And so that would have reduced this to 6,475, is that what we're saying?
No, but he wanted to keep that line at 5,000, up from 4,500.
Oh, instead of 7,500?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
so the idea is, if we have money to do the doors this year, we encumber the 3,000, and then he doesn't need that 3,000 next year.
And he doesn't want to quite drop that by 3, he said. So that's hence the reason for 5,000.
Transfer station doors, we have,
$3,000 quote.
yeah, but we have not,
It's in our paperwork.
I know, I've got it.
Yep.
Have we encumbered it from somewhere?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay. So, all right,
Thank you.
so,
Well, do we want to wait until we actually encumber to adjust that? In case we don't encumber, and then he doesn't have the money for it.
Yes.
Now, one of the things that Diane, I thought was going to give us, is she was going to give us a total of encumbrances.
she did.
You should have that,
That-
yeah.
Yes.
That spreadsheet, I thought was,
On the back of
uh,
this.
Oh, okay, all right. I'm sorry. It's at the top of that page.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that, we had two different things kind of going. Mine's my notes before you.
This is what we have
Encumbered from the operating. And she
Right.
also gave you an
So
operating budget.
We've encumbered that much out of this year's operating budget
Right.
going forward,
And none of
right?
that.
And
none
all of this
that's
stuff
finalized.
is the,
Yeah,
let's see, wait a minute. I'm sorry. So we've encumbered,
this is all SB 38, this is warrant articles, and this is state aid.
right,
So this is the operating budget.
And you should have
Right.
done a new operating
So-
budget.
she ran one for us on Friday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So 16.7 out of the,
Oh my God.
I'll give it back. Believe me,
Is it in the trash right over there?
yeah,
Okay,
I'll go get it. You don't have to do that.
Are you sure? I just have to write notes as you talk about it.
So she's only showing, $16,702 encumbered?
that's what she's showing, right?
Okay,
Out of
So we've got a
out of
balance of-
265 remaining.
got 248 remaining, right,
Oh,
after the 16, right,
yes, right.
okay.
So that gives us an idea where, and some of this money is already going someplace else, but
Well, some of it's gonna get spent paying bills.
that's what I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. But,
so you're thinking of taking the money from where?
Well, on Friday you did a lot of it just from the overall number.
Hmm?
On Friday you did a lot just from the overall remaining number.
Right.
Not a lot, but you know.
So, okay, thanks.
Sure, yeah.
Do we want to encumber $3,000 from the 2019 budget to cover the doors at the transfer station?
Yes, it's in our correspondence.
Right.
So
okay.
moved, Mr. Chairman.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we can leave.
And we have a contract for that. Is that right?
Yes,
We
That's
it's in
right.
writing.
Right
Yep.
here.
Yeah.
So that's gonna change the transfer station maintenance number from 7,500 to 5,000.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Do we wanna go line by line and look at these, or do you just wanna pick out the ones you don't like?
Why don't you go line by line?
Yeah,
Mr.
why
Chairman?
don't we start at the
Okay.
top and work our way down?
Town office heat, 4,300, we spent 4247.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Town office heat, I guess we gotta stay twice as hot. 49, we spent 4110.
Yes.
Town office maintenance, we're over by $800. Do we wanna stay at 48? Why did we go over on town office maintenance?
I don't know what the,
569237 is what was spent.
Yeah, we'd have to look at the
see the itemized detail. and see
Probably a
what it
couple
is.
of windows, right?
And the windows were a warrant article.
No,
No,
no.
see, I don't know what the, the landscape maintenance was or the shelter, I don't know, because we don't get a fixed number on.
We did have a lot.
That would be out,
We
outside.
did have a
Outside
late winter.
maintenance.
Do you want me to ask for detail
Yeah,
of all of them, you think?
I think so.
Okay.
Because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 that are over.
Okay.
Sorry about that, but
Oh,
I
that's
didn't
okay.
get that
Hmm?
here.
Well, no, it's
What?
fine.
What? I have numbers on windows.
Yes.
The one I encumber, so I have it in writing,
You do
2 different ways.
Okay.
2 different ways?
2 different ways, 2 different brands of window, because what he put in for the awnings now in Heather's office and Diane and the one upstairs are Marvin Integrity, okay?
Yeah,
Marvin Integrity does not make one that's the big size, which is in the main offices and the two top upstairs, front and back. They only make the higher end one and they're almost fell over.
yeah,
So I got a price on Matthews Brothers windows.
and they're clad,
They're vinyl on the outside
okay.
and they're vinyl on the inside. They're white.
So these are for which windows upstairs?
So I got a
and
price on these right here. There's only, the size of this one right here is only these three right here and the three in the front of the police station. That's it on this size right here. The rest of them are huge. These are what they call 6/6 and the other ones are, I think they're 9/9, which are, or 12/12. They're actually really big windows. So in a Marvin, they're $2,000 a piece installed.
Okay,
In the Matthews Brothers,
Window
they're
World to do them for $2.99 a piece.
$898.
$900.
Yeah,
Well,
as opposed to $2,000.
what's your recommendation?
I went down there actually, Winnie, and looked at them. Obviously, the Marvin are nicer windows, but they're
The
all
Marvins
thermal
are gonna be
painted.
wood on the inside.
They'll be wood on the inside,
And
and
it's
they'll
true
be
divided
painted
light?
white, and they're light between the glass, like we just did on the four barn
So
sash.
they're not true divided
No,
lights.
you put the lights between the glass. These are actually true divided light, but these are single glazed with storm panels, which is
Right.
ridiculous.
But the $2,000 ones are divided lights with some shadow bar.
Yeah, possibly, or it could be between the glass. They're about the same price,
Yeah.
but we have a lot of those windows. So at $1,100 glass per window.
Do you each want a copy of this, or I can run it off if you want?
That's all right.
We'll share.
Yeah.
I went through a lot of these budgets, so I know some of the reasons why things are over or under, or
Great.
You better.
Yeah.
I'll do my best.
Do you have a recommendation on windows?
So it is the windows that pushed it.
Where are you at?
Replace the circular rear.
Town
We're on
office.
town office maintenance.
Oh, yeah, the town office ground maintenance?
No, just maintenance.
Oh, the top one, okay.
Yeah, so we're $1,200 or $1,100 now.
Yeah, it's because of the
That's
windows.
the window.
Yeah.
Okay, so how many windows, Jack, are we talking about?
It depends on what you want to do. I mean,
We're gonna paint the whole place.
correct.
So if we're gonna paint it, we're gonna replace windows, we're gonna be pulling sash or
Correct.
casing.
Yeah, they can be touched up, which is, depends on what you go with.
Yeah,
Obviously, the new trim he's putting on the outside is AZAC, it's plastic.
Mhm.
We're not putting wood on the outside anymore.
Right.
So everything's been replaced, new windows now is AZAC on the outside. And the
but
windows
the
are-
old windows that haven't been replaced,
Right, and a lot of those are rotten, like these here, the sills are all rotted up. They've been patched and patched, and they
it's just
just,
junk.
correct.
They were
So what's the bottom line?
Well, which one do you want to go with?
How many windows?
We're gonna go with I'm asking you your recommendation, bottom line.
For all of them, or just a bunch?
Yeah,
All of them.
I didn't count them all up, I just got prices per window, I don't know how much you wanted to spend. I mean,
Okay.
I can go
And
around
we
town
don't- and we
get
don't
back
know
to you
yet
in
either.
2 minutes and
But
tell
we
you,
got-
but
We gotta start from,
give me 5 minutes, I can go tell you how many. it's
Okay, why
gonna
don't
be.
you do that?
Yeah,
We'll
okay.
work on ground maintenance.
Maybe you gotta do the windows first and then
You're
paint it another year
$647
after.
over ground maintenance, what's that all about?
What happened in this particular overage is that there was a $900 charge by Corey Hunter to remove a ton of sand out of the grassing area. I guess it was pretty bad this spring.
to remove what?
The sand, from the plows pushing
Oh.
the,
Really?
I don't think they swept the parking lot this year, the streets.
no, they did, I asked.
Jim, you
Yeah, he
did?
did do it.
Just, I don't know why it's,
Hmm.
It used to be that way, because Jim never swept it, then we started having the highway sweep it. So then that cost went away.
So I called Corey and I asked him if he thought he was gonna be charging the town that fee, you know, $900 every year. And he did say, no, that was kind of like an odd, it was a bad year last year, okay, we had so much snow and it ended up having a ton of sand. But he said moving forward, it would be more like $300 to remove the sand out of the grass.
So do we want to leave the
So that's why I left it at 700 because.
7,000?
Yes, 7,000.
Okay. We've got a bid on, are we all set on that?
Yes.
Got a bid on painting the building, town office. So we're at 16,000 for that line item.
I haven't seen the bid.
Oh,
Is it in the,
I think,
I don't have anything for that.
I thought we did, Jack.
Did you see it in there? Okay.
There's one for Sodom Road Bridge.
Yeah, I didn't see anything for that. Jack must have it.
Oh, it is County Road Bridge, I'm sorry.
County Road Bridge, excuse me.
All right, so we don't know what that number is till Jack gets back.
right,
Do we want to talk about the exterior paintwork as an increase in this line item for 1 year? Or do you want to combine the exterior paintwork with the windows and create a warrant article? How do you feel?
I guess it depends upon,
Give Jack 5 more minutes.
yeah, what his number is.
The next is Townhouse Electric, which seems to be running right on course. Townhouse Heat is $700 over. Almost
Yeah, what
$800.
happened is the wood pellet stove, there was some parts that had to be replaced and wasn't expected. And that's why it went over. I talked to Jack and I asked.
So why did we charge the
Yeah, why didn't the
repair
maintenance?
expense to the heat rather than to maintenance?
Right.
Because it was the stove, right?
Well,
But,
there's,
but those lines are for the
Fuel.
fuel.
Right.
Okay, so if I have to put a new boiler in, I don't charge it to the fuel line. I charge it to the maintenance line or improvements line or something like that. So,
Do you know how much that repair was?
well, I can, let me see. I have it broken down here. I mean, I could do a journal entry. Where would I put it? Townhouse improvements?
No.
maintenance,
Townhouse maintenance?
right.
Right below it.
Okay.
So you've got Energy Systems LLC.
Yeah, I can do a journal entry and put it into townhouse maintenance.
Okay, boiler
I'm
maintenance
gonna
and
have
parts,
to-
it's 853 plus 175. So
$875, is that the cost?
853.75. And boiler maintenance was 175. So
How much are you recommending for that line this year?
25.
On the 28th.
25,
Yeah.
is usually what it takes to fuel pellets.
Right, so,
Yeah.
So if we put
Which is-
25 there,
yeah, leave 25 there and,
if you move 875 out of that expense line down into maintenance, that brings the maintenance up to $1,260, which is about what you budgeted. Okay. So do you need to go 1750? Oh, yeah,
The-
yeah, cleaning.
We do have 4 elections there this year, so there'd be more.
I did
Shoveling.
take that into account, yeah.
Yeah. well,
Also, Dolly's going up $1, the janitor's going up $1
Kidding.
per hour.
Jesus.
So do you want to leave that at 1750?
That's why I.
That's why you bumped it up to 1750.
Okay.
Yep.
And townhouse outside maintenance. You're already,
That's grounds.
well, there's outside maintenance, and then there's
Improvements.
improvements, but outside maintenance, you've got Corey Hunter, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 10 times at $180, that's $1,800.
So, yeah, for some reason, as I look back at the history,
Less than that.
right? 400, 700, 600,
Right,
800, 1,200 in 2018, and we put 2,200 in this year, and we've spent 970, which is back more like what it's been in the past. But it was a little more last year, and then we bumped it up a bunch more this year.
It was the entrance, remember we had electrical work done? And
well, it didn't show up on the itemized expenses.
maybe it was under,
I think there was something
Generators.
planned for a townhouse on the outside, but it didn't get done. I have to look at my notes.
he changed the entrance in the last year.
Service, the electrical entrance.
Yes.
But that was part of the generator install, I believe. Anyway, whatever it was that we budgeted in there, we didn't spend.
Right.
I can look at last
Right.
year's minutes, maybe.
Right, I mean, I think that a more appropriate line item would be $1,000 or $1,200.
Mhm. Yep.
Okay,
I'm just trying to remember why we put that much extra in.
I can do a search real quick of that.
Hmm?
I can do a search on my minutes last year.
Yeah, it's,
Okay. Townhouse outside maintenance is the question, right?
right,
It was to level walkway, replace miscellaneous clapboards. That's why it was,
okay, none of that got done.
no.
Okay. Do we
So,
still need
do
to
we
level the
st-
walkway
yeah.
and replace miscellaneous clapboards?
Jack,
Yeah,
do we still need to level that walkway up at the townhouse?
yeah, no one got a price back to me, I called 2 people.
Okay. So we ought to budget for it again next year?
Yeah.
1,300, right?
Hmm?
1,300?
I have a little E next to my figure for this, for the 1,300 to encumber in case. Oh, wait a second, I'm sorry, I jumped and I'm ahead of myself here. Never mind.
Okay. All right, so do we wanna leave that at 1,000 or do we wanna move it to 2,200?
I think we put it at 2,200. That's maintenance that didn't get done this year. We don't have a price on it. We can't encumber that money for that work. It
And-
still needs to be done.
And the next line down, the $1,300, which we didn't do either.
Right, at that, yeah,
Right, and I don't know if Scott gave us a price on that. We can encumber that or not, but
That
well,
was for the lighting and all that, wasn't it? He's supposed to give me a price, I'm supposed to have it today.
all right.
Okay.
Okay,
Didn't get
good.
it, so.
All right. So I'm gonna suggest that we
Move on.
keep the outside maintenance at 2,200 in 2020 to get that concrete work done.
Concrete work done, and there's some rotted stuff up there too,
Okay.
which I can't get it fixed and I'm wrong, but the gentleman that we use is reasonable, so I don't know. If you just wanna put it under maintenance. There's a couple corner boards that are rotted, a couple corner
Okay.
boards that are
Right.
rotted.
And we'll leave the lights at 13.
Yeah.
Highway building electric seems to be running on course. Highway building heat, you've reduced that to 2,500 because they've only spent 2,165. Highway building maintenance, we're at $100, we're not gonna maintain the building at all.
$100 is for fire extinguisher,
Service,
maintenance
yeah.
service. They get it every year.
That's the only maintenance we're gonna do on the highway building.
Well, that's the only one, at the very least, you should budget for, is
Well-
100 to pay that extinguisher.
Well, he just submitted a bill to put the doors back on, and repair the doors for the salt sheds. Where did that money come from? Out of his hourly? I think that's what he did. He hired his guys to re-bolt and re-screw the doors, and I think it came out of labor.
Okay.
All right.
Well, he sends me a bill.
All right, so the last several years, we've spent about 6,000 plus or minus a year on maintenance at the highway garage.
Right.
This year, we spent 2,000.
Are they doing the paving there this year and stuff? I'm just curious.
No.
No.
All right, because that was putting a pad in for the gas pump as well, so.
Right, so, you know, we've been able to do some, I mean, last year, we did paint up,
Yep.
and, you know, we've done some doors and some other things, but,
Leave it at 100?
no, absolutely not.
Well, no, I
That's
just-
saying we're not, that's saying we're not gonna do any maintenance.
No, I just put 100 there because I didn't know
It was a
what
placeholder.
was planned. So
Right.
I needed to put at least 100 in there for the fire extinguishers. That I knew was the
Yeah.
known cost.
So, I would suggest at a minimum, we leave it at 2,500, and if there's something else that needs to be done,
Yeah.
we need.
Going up there, you know, getting sand for here and all that, and shoveling, there's some boards inside the sand shed that need to be put back on and stuff like
Yep.
that. There is, yeah.
Okay, so we're not gonna approve this budget today anyway, but so we can have something printed out for Monday. Put $2,500 on
Yeah.
that one.
Yes.
Okay, library outside maintenance at 28, that seems okay. Fire station improvements.
I ask a question
I would
about that?
suggest that it's not gonna be less than it has been in the past on outside maintenance
Outside
library. You got a bigger building,
More entrances.
so you could, outside maintenance does stuff like shoveling the walks.
Shoveling, so they
Right,
got
got
longer
more
walks,
walks
they got
to-
more walks, so the front
Right.
one's going to be done as well as all
So,
new.
I'm fine with leaving it where it is in the
There
past,
should
but
be
I
no
don't think we
painting
can
and
go
that type
down
of
on
thing,
it.
but it's still.
I would suggest that we put it where it is, where it was this year, and understanding it may go more, but not say we're gonna spend less.
My question was, is there going to be any landscaping work done after the construction is over? That was a
Yeah,
That's
question I
that's part of the
had.
That's
job.
part of the job, but there is a little bit
Oh,
more
okay.
grass in the back now, I think, because it's
Okay,
gas
so
tanks
we
and
want,
stuff
where do we
there,
wanna
so-
go on library maintenance? You
I'd
wanna
leave
go
it at 3,000.
Okay, 3,000.
If we spend more, then we'll know what it's gonna be, but it's certainly not gonna be less.
Yeah, yeah.
Fire station, we've already talked about, he's gonna seal coat, that's why
Yep.
it's up 3,700,
So what's the total there?
6,700. Fire station improvements,
Mhm.
fire station electric 1990,
Yeah.
heat 2225. Yeah, okay. Mirror Lake heat is over, and I just wanted to find out about that.
Yeah, why we spent more last year.
I think they did something to the boiler.
In
The
Mirror
furnace.
Lake?
I think so, I'm not positive, I think they had to repair the furnace.
Okay, so that's maintenance, that's not heat, right? Again,
I know, I'm not positive, but I think.
the
they had to do
electricity
something.
line is for what we spend for
No.
electricity, that,
The 1995, I'm sorry,
yeah,
is all Penny River fuels,
okay,
so there's no repairs there,
all right,
and no repairs in Mirror Lake,
okay.
yeah.
So it's the, both of those,
27 and 1995,
the fuel uses up, yeah,
okay,
or the fuel cost is up, I should say.
it is. All right, fire station maintenance, we're up $1,800.
So that line stays at 32?
Yep,
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Lloyd.
Okay.
Next line is fire station maintenance, we understand that it's up $1,800 because we are going to do something.
Yeah, he's gonna come back to you on Monday
Yeah,
with a.
he's gonna have the detailing of it for that.
Okay, 19 mile mowing and electric, 1750. Seems reasonable. Transfer station electric has already gone over budget, so he's at 45. I think we talked about that with him, as well as the heat. And what do we want to do about the doors?
We did it.
We voted on
We
that.
already voted
Oh, we already did
to
that,
change
sorry.
it to
So we're
5,000.
down to 5,000.
Right.
Apologize.
Oh, is that gonna change?
It's going down to $5,000.
Oh, okay.
They're gonna encumber money for the doors.
Yeah, we're gonna
Oh,
cover the $3,000
okay,
for the
okay.
doors. Davis Fuel Electric, 375. Okay, the chief's gonna come back to us with all the fire department numbers, I think. And other property improvements.
Other property maintenance and improvements, yeah, that,
Do you have anything for Wharf Road?
Reverse entry from, oh, that's.
I know there's electric bill down there because we have power.
Oh,
Well,
Cops
do you have a
Pond
line
Road
for that
platform.
property or not?
That's done.
Trash pit, Trask, it's trash pickup, not Trask. Wood for Cops Pond. Okay, so a lot of that
this year.
this year is,
Cops Pond.
well, 5,200 of it's a 107 Union Wharf cleanup. We're not gonna have that to deal with. Again.
Right.
Yes, correct.
So, do we want to, yeah, so if you take $5,000 off of that, you're at $4,900. And we've got 11, 12, $1,800. $1,800 worth of Cops Pond.
And that's completed. So you're under 4194-07,
So
other
that's-
property maintenance?
Right, 7,000 of that $9,903 was for Cops Pond. and
Specific projects
and
this year.
Smith cleanups,
Yeah.
right.
So,
So if we brought it down to 29, that would be the same as the 99.
Mhm.
Yep.
I mean, we got 29. Right.
And what comes out of that? I'm just curious. It's other
29?
properties.
So 29 would be.
But just for instance, all right, on Wharf Road,
Okay, Corey Hunter, mow and trim, spring cleanup,
It's a Gould property.
Gould property. That's about it.
Yeah, all, that
Oh, wait, no,
2,900.
no. Gould property, Cops Pond. Yeah, it's all Gould property.
so do we need to add,
there used to be a pole down at Wharf Road, they took it out, so now the meter socket is actually on Flint's house, which is next door. And their electric has a big box over it, and there's 2 meters that stick out of it. Once a year, twice a year, 3 times a year, I have to take that cover all apart.
Yeah.
To turn the breaker back on, because it trips, because it's a GFI.
yeah,
I'm just curious, we can have Scott do something, the electrician do something.
so how much money?
So I can access it without having to.
So what do you need,
go apart.
$1,000?
Not even. $500.
All right,
So-
so let's make it $3,400 then.
I have no problem with that.
Okay, 34 on that.
And I will talk to the owner of the house as well. So.
Fire department, so we're done until the fire department comes back to
I
see
think
us.
so, yeah,
Okay.
all right. How much is your painting out of that 16 grand?
16, well, it's a little less, but I put in a little bit over.
Okay, so you're not
It's very
planning,
close.
not planning any other townhouse improvements in
And I
that?
have the window thing, so.
And how much
Okay, what did you have for windows?
All right, so if we go with the Matthews Brothers windows,
Yeah.
well, we go with the Marvin's for the barn and sash and Matthews Brothers for the other. It's $19,395.
That's for everything
That's for everything
installed.
installed. And if we go with the Marvin on everything. It's 30,725.
And Matthews doesn't make the big ones, is that right?
They do. Marvin makes the big ones, but it's a
All right, I'm sorry.
much better unit.
Matthews doesn't make the little ones.
They do, but we've already placed some, so I just assumed leave them all the same.
I see, okay.
What do you wanna do? We're
So-
gonna paint the place. I don't see painting the place and not having the windows replaced, cause then you're just gonna tear it apart again.
Yeah, I mean, the guy who puts the windows in, he caulks around and all that, so the windows themselves would not get painted on the new ones, do you know what I mean? But if they painted the building, they would paint everything.
Yeah.
So you'd be taking out freshly painted windows, and I don't know if you wanna do this all in 1 year, or you wanna split it up, that's the thing, so. And I still have to work on someone to do the cupola, right?
That's a separate project,
It's a total
right?
separate project, yeah. And that's not including those windows, I didn't put those in this.
So which are the worst windows that we have here?
These right here, the barn sash that are on the police side. One or two of these, just, you know, but if they're doing like 2 of these, why not do the third one, you know what I mean? Even though 2 of them are really bad.
Right. But
Yeah.
what's the condition of the big windows?
The upper ones are the worst, the 2 upstairs. I mean, a lot of it's the trim on them's gone, and look, sometimes the corner of the sash is rotted. If you're gonna tear half of it apart, finish it, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean, it's, if they're gonna paint up there, I just have, you know, stage it once, get it all done, and get the
Right.
hell out of here.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, the painter's not gonna
Yeah.
do it, so.
So that line would be 16K plus 19K and change, right?
Well, if we wanna push the budget that hard, I mean,
That's why I got price per window, so you wanna just throw a few.
well, I would almost think we'd be better off going with a warrant article if we were gonna do that.
Yeah,
I'd have no problem with
if
a
we're
warrant
gonna do
article.
a big ship,
Yes,
you know.
and it locks it in for that.
The other piece is if we have money and want to encumber to do some of this, which is one of the reasons you
Correct.
got the numbers now,
Right.
then that,
Right. I mean, right now, with just the numbers we have, so we're $20,000 over last year.
I would
That's gonna
suggest we
change.
either encumber or we go warrant article. Because you're gonna have a hard time selling 20K increase on that line.
Is it 14,000 on town office improvements or 16? 14, right? Yeah,
what, for this year, 16.
14.
I've got 16 on my paper.
Was some of that the inside front entrance? I'm just curious.
What about it?
For, is, you talking this year, is it for 2020 or 19?
2020.
Okay. So I think you encumbered money to
We
do
did.
the
We-
front entrance
yeah.
on the inside part of it,
Yes.
so I don't know, yeah.
Right, we did.
Am I wrong, Karen? Is it 16 or 14?
16.
Okay.
Town office, I mean, I don't know, did you do 16 because you're quoting for paint is
16,000
14?
for the-
Or-
No, 16.
Okay, I just wrote 14 down because that's what the paint
The
costs.
painting's
Okay.
16.
Got it.
What did I write 14
I
down?
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Because he wanted to be 14, that's why.
Mr. Chairman, would you consider the following, that we leave that line at 2,000, but the 16 and the 19 are either a warrant article or encumbered funds?
Yeah. So we've got 14. That's why I wrote it down. That's why I wrote it down.
There's going,
And
there's going to be
25.
incidents where a window gets broken or a car backs into the garage or something like that, so you want at least a placeholder for.
32, 18. Okay. We don't know that. That's gonna get us back down to somewhere within what we had last.
And like I say, I don't know, what's happening with the police station in 2 years, 3 years, whatever, so I don't know if that would change that side of the building for what it gets used for in the future, and maybe the windows get changed, I don't know, so.
Right.
Do you know what I
Why don't we
mean?
just tear that section down? Like more parking? Probably not. So, yeah.
The
put the
garage and
windows-
make a meeting room and what have
And
you.
then you
so-
just put a ground level roof over the boiler room downstairs, yeah.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen those before.
Like a storm shelter.
Yep,
Um,
all right.
Yeah, we're
So
still
you're
gonna
gonna
need
shoot-
that building.
So we're gonna do 2,000 for the town office improvements and deal, is that what you're saying?
Yep.
Yep,
Yeah.
and deal with the,
Yep.
whatever the
We'll
the
deal
big
with
pieces
the
are.
Creatively.
Yep,
paint
yep.
in a warrant article or
I
encumbrance.
have numbers for both in writing, so.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Okay, so we don't.
See, I knew you had a paint number.
I did have a pay number.
Yeah.
Yeah, 16,000.
Yeah.
But I don't have it. I thought I had it, and then you said you didn't have it.
We didn't, well, we didn't
did.
know that the only improvement was the painting.
I gotta start wearing one of those little red noses.
Yep.
Clowns. Okay, thank you.
All right, you're gonna be here
Back to
next
work.
Monday, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You're here Monday? Anybody?
Next week, yeah.
Okay. Good, because we're gonna try to wrap all of our encumbrances and everything else up Monday.
Yep.
We've got the firehouse or the school generator that the fire department has. We're gonna figure out what we're gonna do there.
Okay.
And we probably can get a pretty close number, so you should plan on printing us out a run on the 1919, or 2019 budget, so we know what we've got left.
Mhm.
Great.
You looked at your encumbrances, that
I
you
did.
put together?
Yep, and we uncovered a little more today.
Oh, you did?
Yep.
Oh, okay, all right. Okay.
And so,
Yeah, $3,000 for the doors at the transfer station. Jerry Jeff Walker. You already got that.
What about the docks and bridges?
Yeah,
And
that's
also,
I heard it
working
right,
on
yeah,
that
so-
on Monday?
I think that one we can probably do today, right? Unless you
Docks and
want to.
bridges?
Well,
You don't have to, I just
Yeah.
said wait till Monday.
yeah,
We've got quotes on everything, but we really, we're gonna do anything with it, we need to do it on Monday.
yeah. Everything is sort of interrelated in what we're trying to deal with.
Yeah,
here.
let's have no appointment, do we have any appointments for next Monday?
No, we didn't even have a
Let's-
meeting planned, so.
No appointments,
Right.
we'll just finalize everything.
work
that we're
session,
doing.
Yeah,
Okay? It shouldn't take us all day.
no,
Thank you.
Even
Yeah.
monkeys like us, it should take us all day. Okay,
No.
so I'm gonna move right on to,
Maintenance that.
signature file.
There's just one thing luckily today, so. Yeah.
There's no.
And we've got a, what is this?
Immediately setback from septic.
Oh, this is the fire permits issued,
Correct, yeah. We have local and state residents.
2019.
They kind of mirror each other. It's, well, from open water.
And this is a, what is it?
75 feet.
Reimbursement?
Fully drained, it is very fully drained.
Don't we reimburse the HEPIs for issuing permits?
Yes,
Yeah, we've got
yes.
Customer General Store, Adam Thompson, Richard Piper, Frank Tranchita, Christopher Morgan, Kenneth Greenwood,
Yeah.
Boswell Galvin,
Roswell, Skip Gilman.
yep.
Skip Galvin.
Move approval.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah, it's Eagle Mirror, yeah, it's kind of damp in spots down there.
Is it just one signature?
I guess, I'm not sure where I signed
You're
those.
welcome. Alrighty.
But I have, it's sort of. Should
Yeah, I know
just
what you mean,
sign
it is a little funny, but yeah, I think it's there too.
Okay. So I'll just put the same stuff down, 662. Me, Tufton Borough. Okay, that's 1223.
Yep.
Okay. Selectmen's update. I could go on all day.
No, I'm good.
Uh, Jeremy Lovett is a company that gets hired by towns to do, to research insurance benefits and whatnot. I pulled it out, made it available to you guys. I don't know if the budget committee's interested in hiring them to do something.
Well, they don't hire.
Yeah, they can spend money.
Well, I'm thinking a parallel to they demanded a compensation study years ago.
Right.
The next thing is, under correspondence, is an update on Tufton Borough Four Corners. Read it at your convenience. What it is a synopsis of what Mark Howard did and suggestions that have been made. Again, it's for your information. Two other things. In correspondence, there's a estimate to paint or whatever it is, County Road Bridge. We'll talk about that Monday. And I have spoken to the fellow who does the trash at the beach areas, dock areas, and for $200 more a year, he's willing to pick up and recycle every single day at those locations. And I recommend that $200 be added to the rec trash line. I'll discuss that Monday. Thank you.
Have we paid in the past for that?
Yes, we pay for him to pick up, but a couple times a week.
Okay.
The nice thing is he'll pull the glass out and recycle.
All right, send us something in writing.
Yeah.
Okay, I went to the, Jesus, way back. Library construction meeting, everything seems to be going along okay. They were trying to find money for a cupola, but I think they did.
I think I heard that somebody stepped forward with a donation to do the cupola. Or maybe that was to do a weather vane.
The weather vane's there. So
Okay.
now we don't have any place to put the weather vane, so
Yeah.
we got a cupola, so.
Yeah.
Hopefully, my recommendation was not to get a wooden cupola.
Right. Build it at AZAC.
Yeah.
They found them in plastic, so.
They did, good.
Yeah.
Was there another meeting, Jack? I'm sorry.
No,
Okay. Budget meeting, I think we talked about it ad nauseum. Hopefully when they come back on the 7th, they will have drunk enough wassail to bring
Yeah.
themselves back into some form of order.
I went through the Thornton study and their comments from two of the individuals, you know, these employees are getting a golden egg and all that.
Yeah, but that's just, it's hyperbole. We have got numbers out of Tamworth and other places for local wage studies for government workers. And one point that I can't stress enough is that it wouldn't change that budget a nickel, because any contribution from the employees is gonna hit the income side, it's not gonna hit the expense side before.
Correct.
So anyway, I went to the Carroll County.
Well, and while we're on that,
Sure.
I've mentioned this before, but I'll mention it again now that we're on camera. If we're gonna consider a change in the compensation, which a change in the arrangement on health insurance would be, then it's only appropriate that we would have a consultant do a survey and provide recommendations. I have no idea what the consultants, how much that would cost, but, you know, if the budget committee feels that change in compensation is, if they feel strongly that that's something that this town ought to do, then we need to budget money in 2020 to do, to have a consultant provide us with the information that we can then go forward and make an adjustment that would hit the following year, not the year we're already in, the year we've already signed that insurance contract for.
Right. And Lloyd's been nice enough to bring us in the name and address of a company that does that.
Right.
I'm sure there are other ones out there, but we need to, if we need to do that, then we need to change up maybe the legal line on Selectmen's budget to accommodate for some additional study work on compensation. Moving on, because I know you gotta go. I went to the Carroll County Broadband meeting. There was a presentation by Consolidated, and I found fascinating in the twist that they could make on how this was gonna work, and it seemed, I wish I'd had him as a salesman back when I was in retail. But the notion that Consolidated has is that the communities borrow the money because we get such a low rate from the bond bank for all of the fiber optic cable, which we will own because we borrowed the money. They told us that. But there won't be any benefit to the town. They'll still charge you for your cable hookup. They'll still charge you for your high-speed internet, depending on how high-speed you want. And they'll collect all that money, they'll keep all that money.
So that's Consolidated.
Right, so that ownership of all the cable really doesn't inure.
But that only works where Consolidated is the provider,
Well,
right?
right, it's not gonna work for you.
Which doesn't work in part of Tuftonboro, right?
There was a lady at that meeting who I spoke to briefly from Vermont, where they did the same thing, not with Consolidated. They actually got all the towns together, did a bond issue, hired a company to install the cable. They own the cable company, and it goes everywhere. Doesn't matter if you're on a different phone or a different cable. It's internet.
It's like electric service, it goes everywhere you pay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're looking at a 5-year payback on investment.
Wow.
And it's a local bond issue, still paying 3 or 4%. She told me that probably better than 50%, closer to 60% of the actual bond sales went to local individuals to just investing their money,
Mhm.
getting a good return on it. So that ball is still up in the air. The next meeting with the Carroll County Broadband is not till next month.
Which reminds me, I did sort of sit in on the cable webinar last Wednesday. There was a bit of an audio issue with it, and it may have been working through my phone. I was driving at the time and trying to listen to this thing, and there was an FCC ruling back in August of this year that has sort of changed the landscape as it relates to franchise fees and services that are provided by cable companies, and basically made a big shift in how you look at this, how it can be interpreted according to the FCC
Yeah.
in the favor of the cable company. And this is all stuff that's happened since we had Kate in here. She was one of the presenters, by the way. And it is available. There's a video of this thing that's available so that you can click in and hear it. It's interesting. I know you tried to participate as well, right, Joe?
Yeah, but I couldn't get in. It's on YouTube, and I've been busy and I've yet to go on YouTube because it's on the site. Okay, tried. So I haven't viewed it, but I'm going to.
Yep.
Well, the current chairman of the FCC has done nothing but be on the payroll of the cable companies and the internet providers. I mean, the end of net neutrality, thank you very much. So wait for your bill, depending on how much you use. Anyway, I went to that. I'm sure that there was another meeting that I went to, but I've completely lost track of it. So if I remember, I'll tell you on Monday.
Hurlburt.
Oh, the Hurlburt Trust, right.
It always comes back to that.
Yeah, Hurlburt Trust, and we did our distributions just for public consumption. We did eliminate a bunch of them, or not a bunch, but a few of them, because there was no ask. And we're not gonna, just so everybody understands, everybody who got money a year ago is gonna get a letter stating what we require if they wanna have money in the future. And some of them got money this year, but some of them didn't. And, you know, it's a lot of repetition. In other words, same people that get money from Tuftonboro, Wolfboro, in the general budget, the county, are getting money out of the Herbert Trust. And our feeling as a board of trustees was our money might be better used in a larger grant for a specific purpose, more scholarship granting. Currently, we're giving $4,000, I think, for kids that want to go to Brewster for scholarship. Maybe we need to increase that. We're at about $5,500 for kids coming out of the high school going to colleges. Maybe we need to look at how that's going. We did a one-time big grant to Libby because they're talking about rebuilding the Libby Museum. But it's going to be a one-time thing on those, and I think that's, the trust has to divest itself of about $45,000 or $50,000 a year. That's how much it's making on its investments in a certain part of the corpus. So we'll see how it goes. I think it's, and we're also writing up a system for organization. I mean, essentially the three of us were thrown in there, and here's the checkbook. So there's no historical documentation, et cetera. So it needs to be a little more structured than it was. Got the signature file done, updates done, correspondence. Is there anything? Did you look at correspondence?
It's the green one, but they could probably wait till Monday if you want.
No, we wanted to keep Monday clear,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
which is,
Alright, so there is a study of this 171 Durgan Road, Ledge Hill Road intersection. Looks pretty flat in the picture, and yet it's hilly. So we should probably all read that at some point. Oh, what? So the due date for the Tuftonboro Times is January 3rd. Anybody got any free time, or is it my turn? I don't know.
Might be your turn.
Is it my turn? All right, that'll give me something to do. And Primex has given us another holiday. I took the opportunity to tell Diane to just put that in our designated fund balance. I didn't see any place else to go with it. I didn't want to.
in past years, politically, it's paid dividends to when we do next year's budget, Primex holiday, and it reduces that number.
On the income, yeah, we can list it as income.
That's
And
right.
it will get listed as income, it's just what do we do with
Right.
it?
So you're gonna accept the check? Okay.
Yeah. There's an organizational commission to study school funding. Really? Okay. So you're welcome to join that. If you don't have anything else to do. And I don't know, that's all.
So
Document scan?
document scanning,
Yeah.
I mean, it's available out there, and not a bad thing. It's just how many tens of thousands of dollars do we want to spend? Because it is not cheap.
Right, I just told him I'd pass it
So
on
What's
to
it
you.
for?
This is to take all of our records
Oh,
and,
computerizing.
and digitize them, right?
Digitize.
So then it's accessible in a digital format, and it's not short dollars to get there.
Cost-effective.
Well, it depends upon what you want to spend your money on.
Yeah, I guess I'm less concerned with government operations being digitally forever, the name about the health records, things that are really important.
Right.
And then,
We have priorities.
yeah, I guess maybe if somebody wants to come forward and push that as a need, they're gonna have to do it, because I'm not gonna do it. I don't know that, I don't even get my email half the time, so I'm not the guy. All right, so that's done. We've gotta move into, do we need to list off our encumbrances on the air here?
Aren't we gonna do that Monday?
Yeah.
All right, we'll do it Monday. You gonna come in Monday, Joe?
Sure, why not?
Okay. All right, we'll give our list of our encumbrances and our warrant articles proposals on Monday. And now we're gonna move into non-public.
Can I ask a question?
Okay, I'll call you other business.
Oh, thank you very much. Sorry. Once upon a time, we had a conversation at the table. Did this town have a fire at one time where they had lost all their records? I mean, that was before, way before.
No, the county
County
did.
did.
Oh, the county did. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, and it wasn't, I don't think we were in a county then. I think that was back when we were in Stratford County.
Or close to it.
Yeah,
Does the county have what you're talking about?
they're doing it currently.
Uh,
It's currently happening.
Oh, with them.
It's been happening for the last 5 years. It's not much documentation. But there you're talking about property records,
Right.
Okay,
which are, we could recreate all of our property record needs from their files. So it's important that they have theirs done.
but they have the equipment or they have the
They're
software to
doing
do that? We would
Yes.
just have to supply a warm body.
It's just,
to
well,
do that.
No, I think they've hired somebody to do it.
yeah, they're spending hundreds of thousands of
Oh,
dollars to.
Okay, I was just
Yeah.
curious. Thank you.
Yep.
I'll entertain a motion. to go
Okay,
into
so
non-public.
moved.
Second, would yes.
Marcus and yes.
Ollie, yes.
Thank you, Joe.
And you're going into 91A, right?
Yes, we are.
91A:3, Berlin Rule 2, L, legal correspondence.
Thank you.